Welcome to Outta Pocket. Here's your host, Michael Davis.
It is time to get out of pocket. I am your host, Michael Davis. We have a stacked show for you today. So if you are joining us on our YouTube channel, I kind of swerved you a little bit. We'll touch on that a little bit later on in the show because it is Top Rope Tuesday. It is Top Rope Tuesday. You guys can join us. You can also be a part of the show as well. So Shan's going to be my co-host today. He's also the co-host of the Cat Cave as well. So we'll be talking some Panthers breaking news here in just a moment. But you can be a part of the show as well. Subscribe now to Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel. And then when you comment on our channel, your comment displays on the screen just like we did yesterday. And you guys can be a part of the conversation. Because, Shannon, we had some breaking news yesterday regarding the hometown team, the Carolina Panthers. As I mentioned, Shan and I do the Cat Cave together along with Ryan Frick, Bully Rye. This is a $650 million revamp of Bank of America Stadium, Tepper Sports Entertainment, and the City of Charlotte. This is from ESPN.com. They have proposed a partnership that the city contributes $650 million to make renovations to Bank of America Stadium, keeping the stadium in the hub of Charlotte, North Carolina. The team not moving. People were afraid that David Tepper might take over the team and then move the Panthers, but that is not the case. There's images, there's videos of making Bank of America Stadium look like it wasn't built in the 1990s like it was. But Shannon, what is your initial reaction to the Carolina Panthers, one, having a home in Charlotte, North Carolina, but two, making these renovations to the old stadium?
I didn't think that David Tepper was going to sell the team because the way that he was making moves to put everything in Charlotte, North Carolina. I didn't see that happening. But with that being said, though, it comes with a price. So, of course, Bank of America Stadium has been around for 30 years. I remember it as Ericsson Stadium. That's how old I am. When they began it with Ericsson mobile phones and then changing the name of it to Bank of America Stadium. It was a 30-year-old stadium, and they're hosting the soccer team, the Charlotte Football Club as well, too. They've got concerts there. So I believe David Tepper has more things on his mind besides football, which sadly his mind should be on money and not football, because we understand his football moves. We understand that he has an ego bigger than the state of Texas and North Carolina together, because he's made some football moves that many of us fans are not happy about. But he is a money guy, and that's what he's trying to get, is the money. So he wants the hosting of every music venue in Charlotte, and then, of course, the soccer team as well, the Charlotte Football Club, and then also the Panthers as well, too. So it's money moves being made. This is the only time I can say good job about David Tepper, but good job, David Tepper, with the money spending aspect.
Yeah, and I do want to bring up, because I feel like it would be a good visual aid for the audience watching us live on Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel. I did want to bring up a tweet from the Carolina Panthers that you can see on our broadcast right now. We're going to go full screen with this and show you what the Panthers Twitter released here.
They say home is where the heart is. For almost 30 years, you've helped make Uptown Charlotte our home. It's much more than a stadium. It's the lair where we keep pounding.
Young looking for Thielen. He's pulled down. What a catch.
And a fortress fit for the crown.
A brilliant goal for Salah.
It's the song you can't get out of your head. and the game you just had to be there for.
Carolina Panthers, champions of the NFC.
It's where we create the moments we'll never forget and experience the traditions worth coming back for. This stadium is our home, and we are excited to show you the vision for what's next. This is the future of Bank of America Stadium.
This is sick. This is
A
cool.
modernized experience featuring a reimagined exterior with a park-like setting, inviting new spaces for the community to gather and celebrate sports, music, and the arts. New state-of-the-art audio and video technology designed to keep fans informed, entertained, and engaged like never before. Unique social spaces with stunning views of the action and the beautiful Charlotte skyline. Brand new seats and redesigned concourses with diverse concession options that celebrate flavors across the Carolinas. It's a destination that draws marquee events to Uptown, attracting visitors from near and far. Not just on game day, but every day. Welcome to the crown jewel of the Queen City.
That was the Carolina Panthers, what they released on X. Shannon, this is I get excited every time I watch that video of just what this could mean for the city of Charlotte, because now Bank of America Stadium could be a good hub, a good host for bigger events. I'm thinking, it's Top Rope Tuesday. Why not bring a WrestleMania to Flair Country? What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't see why not. The place looks like it would be great to house a WrestleMania. So, hey, look, we're about an hour out. We're about an hour and some change out. Let's do it. Let's go.
That would be fantastic for the city of Charlotte, going to a WrestleMania here where wrestling was built. Like, you had Ric Flair, you had Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, you had Dusty Rhodes. Like, you have so much history in North Carolina, but we haven't had a place. Like, we have the Greensboro Coliseum, which hosted AEW Revolution this past March, but that venue is not big enough for WrestleMania when you're talking about putting 60, 70, 80, 100,000 people into a stadium. These renovations make it to where Charlotte could host WrestleMania. And it is Top Rope Tuesday. We will get to that here in just a moment, but also wanted to remind you guys, you can be a part of the show, interact with us in our comment section. Super excited to host a live show and be a part of it. But we did have some other breaking news. I'm going to butcher this name because it took me forever to understand how to pronounce Victor Wembanyama's name. This is Tucupita Marcano. He has gotten a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball for gambling. So Marcano is getting a lifetime ban. A lot of people remember what happened to Pete Rose, but Marcano was putting wagers on games involving the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was with the team last season. So he will not be a part of Major League Baseball moving forward. And Shan, this begs the question, Pete Rose, everybody's been wanting Pete Rose to be in Major League's Hall of Fame. Like, what? Do you think this sets Pete Rose back in terms of getting into the Hall of Fame?
It shouldn't. It should not, because one thing that I can say that can be said about Pete Rose is that when he gambled, he never gambled against his team or for his team. He never did that. This guy right here gambled on his team. Like, whether it was for or against, it doesn't matter. And that part could kill the integrity of the game, because, of course, if he's going to bet against his guys, he's not going to play that hard. That is, if he is playing. And if he's going to bet for them, then that goes near here or there. It's just the fact that the integrity is being taken. But here's what I don't understand here is that players have been the steroid era, and players that are going for the Hall of Fame that were in the steroid era, who have tested positive for PEDs, things of that nature, are getting Hall of Fame bets or Hall of Fame votes. They're getting Hall of Fame votes. And there's a possibility that a player that was juiced up could make it. Now, I know the fans won't do it. The fans won't allow it. Those who have been watching baseball for years are not going to allow that to happen. Mark McGwire will never get a vote because his time has passed. Rafi Palmeiras has passed. So was it Canseco? Those guys who are confirmed guys who are on steroids are never going to get votes. They're never going to get in there because their time is done. I think Pete has got to get in there because Pete made stats. He was a part of that big red machine. He never betted for or against his squad. But here's the thing also, too. If this guy's going to get a lifetime ban forever, then I think that's probably going to affect what Pete Rose has done. But this guy bet against his team. So that's the part I don't like and think that he should get his lifetime ban for, is because he made wagers on his team.
Yeah, and there's definitely a different vibe. And, Derek Polly commenting, modern day Pete Rose.
Yep.
There is a difference, though. Like, Pete Rose did it as a manager, somebody who, I feel like the player aspect of his career should be separate from when he was a manager and when he was gambling. Marcano was betting on his Pittsburgh Pirates or against his Pittsburgh Pirates. Like, that is, I feel like that's a totally different thing. Marcano's gotten a lifetime ban. Jonte Porter from the Toronto Raptors for the NBA got a lifetime ban as well not long ago. Booking Like a Mark, they do really good podcast content when it comes to wrestling, rebooking certain stages of WWE and pro wrestling alike. Go check their stuff out if you haven't. Saying, in the day and age of legalized sports gambling, I'm surprised it has taken this long for something like this to happen. Shannon, that's a good point.
That's exactly right, because I was thinking the same thing, because look at these teams that are in Las Vegas right now. Look at these teams that are getting into it. Of course, you've been doing the advertisements for DraftKings before your podcast. You and us for the Cat Cave. We're doing these things because the betting is now being legal in North Carolina. So that's another thing. You don't want players betting, but yet you're legalizing the bet for the fans. I think it's best if the fans do all the betting. If you want to bet, then don't play any pro sports. That's what I look at there. And if you're gonna bet as a pro athlete, if you're gonna bet on another sport. Like don't bet on the sport you play in. Bet on another sport. Bet on horse racing, NASCAR, basketball, football. Bet on that, but not for the sports you play, because there is some aspects of doing it. I mean, we've had refs that have been thrown out of the NBA because they were gambling on teams that they refed against.
Which is wrong.
Which is definitely wrong for that. No, you're wrong for that. They're betting, they're making bets, and they're reffing the game. I'm like, no, that's skewed all day long. In where the NFL is being talked about being tainted as well too, because there's so many people who think the NFL is tainted, and that it's like wrestling. This is why we watch wrestling. It's the outcome. It's already been made. It's already been predetermined. It's going to be a good show. Cool. But in sports like the NBA and sports like Major League Baseball that are not predetermined yet, then there you have it. So it's the slippery slope. Mixed emotions about it. Pete Rose has to be the sacrificial lamb. This guy has to be the sacrificial lamb as well too. But, it's going to be like that. But as far as keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame, I mean, he didn't bet against his team. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. He never bet against his team, and it's proven that he never did.
Yeah, and especially when you brought up the aspect of people who played with steroids and got busted and put up all these numbers. And if they're getting, at least votes to be in the Hall of Fame.
But I think why is because at that time they were getting Bud Selig some money. And that was a big thing, because baseball was really in a sloping period because they were coming out of the strike at that time. And not a lot of people were tuning into baseball. But when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were going for Roger Maris's record back in the 90s, everyone was watching. There were so many people watching. They were watching baseball. People who haven't watched baseball in years, or probably not baseball fans, were watching baseball at that time, because baseball really, really needed a push because of them coming out of two strikes in the 90s. Two strikes in maybe a span of 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, because I think 92 and 94 was when they had the players strike. I might be wrong at that. But they were coming out of 2 strikes in a span of 5 years, and they needed that. And they got the money for it, and I like what Tony Gibson said right there. Charlie Hustle, baby. I understand what you're saying right there.
Yeah.
I think
We'll
you got to
go.
do the amount of money and insider information would definitely move the line either way. You're absolutely right. So it's whether you get a little or you get a lot. It's one of those things where you're just like, you don't want to involve yourself in any of that because you don't want to be the one caught with a smoking gun, whether you're innocent or not. It's just the fact that you're taking numbers and it makes you look guilty no matter what.
And it's really tough, like, especially thinking about, like, I mean, all the gambling apps that we have right now. You have DraftKings, you have several different others that, people can use. Is this going to make it harder for teams to be like, hey, is this person actually gambling on not only just, in general, but like their sport specifically?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a topic for debate, but I don't think that they thought this through. Like whoever was pushing the gambling through in all the states, I don't know if they thought this through. Many people were saying it's only a matter of time before sports betting was going to be legal in America. They were saying it's only a matter of time, and I've been saying it for a long time. So have you. We've all got into that whole mind frame of this is going to happen eventually. But there's got to be a way to regulate it. There's got to be a way that you have to look at it and say, look, you can put these numbers down, but put these numbers here on this team or that team or whatever. If you're a pro athlete, as a fan, you kind of got free reign to do it. But as a pro athlete, that's another story. I mean, because you've got a lot of guys who got the money to gamble as professional athletes, and you should be able to tell another man what he can or can't do with his money. That's a little bit too excessive to me. But if you're playing the game and you're betting on the game you're playing and you want to get some money, I don't think so.
I mean, it would just be like if they opened up gambling for WWE and
Right.
AEW, and you had a person on the inside who knew who was going to win, knew the match time allotments, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to just put 500 on Cody beating Roman at WrestleMania 40 because nobody's seeing it coming.
No.
Mac probably comment of the day, kind of like betting on last year's Super Bowl.
Yo, you're right. You're right. Heartbreaking stuff right there, man. Stop opening wounds right there, Mac. Come on, man. That hurts.
Shan was a 49er at heart, looking like a mark. One could argue that sports teams and pro athletes have been gambling for a long time in the form of incentive-related contracts.
Yes.
Very similar to prop bets.
Absolutely. Very good point. Absolutely. This money's been moved for a while. Let's be real about this. And if you think that it's not been moved like that, you better think again. They put wool over your eyes and they were able to say, oh, yeah, look at this. Move the money here. Oh, come on, man. It's been going on for a while. Let's go.
Yeah. Very good stuff. By the way, thank you guys for commenting and interacting with us. We've had Mac, we've had Booking Like a Mark, a really good wrestling podcast. We've had Tony Gibson, Derek Polly, Hunter. Thank you guys so much for, commenting and watching our broadcast live. And something's very special about Tuesdays. I mentioned Booking Like a Mark. I'm seeing him in the comments. He talks about wrestling. We talk about wrestling because it is Top Rope Tuesday here on the show. Really want to talk about this, Shannon, because there was some news. I broke an article on Fans First Sports Network over the weekend that Becky Lynch's contract is officially expired. She's officially a free agent. It's very interesting. She lost to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40, was taking time off. Rhea Ripley got injured. Becky Lynch came back, won the Women's World Championship, dropped it a couple of weeks ago to Liv Morgan, who's got her hand in several different pots she probably shouldn't have her hand in. Rhea Ripley will probably do something about that when she comes back. But now Becky Lynch is officially a free agent. She's not contractually obligated to show up on Monday Night Raw programming. But with that said, she could probably show up anywhere she likes. It's Tony Gibson doing a For Life. Too sweet right there. Becky Lynch, to me, feels like a WWE lifer. Do you think there's any chance that she would even entertain moving different companies like to AEW?
Well, I already went on record and said she's not going anywhere on your podcast on Drop the Mic. But the more that I'm starting to read, when I read your article as well too, and the more that I've been looking at things online, there's a possibility, but I'll believe it when I see it. I don't expect for WWE to be done with her. I don't expect for her to be done with them. I think she might be holding out for more money. She might go in the NFL route. You know, she might want to hold out for more money. I mean, why wouldn't you pay Becky Lynch? I mean, I guarantee you that AEW, TNA, ROH would be paying money hand over fist to have somebody like Becky Lynch representing their brand. But I think WWE holds the power of the purse. And I don't see her going anywhere else when it comes down to money, when it comes down to years, when it comes down to incentives and privileges. I believe that WWE is where she's going to be at. She piloted that women's revolution that's been going on. A member of the Four Horsewomen. I don't see it happening. I believe it when I see it. There's a possibility, but it's a very slim chance. I doubt it.
Yeah, it would. Matt saying Tony Khan money. Honestly, like. And that's the thing with negotiations. We saw Edge with Adam Copeland.
True.
Yeah. We saw Edge with Adam Copeland. Like, you know, we thought he was WWE for life. And then he probably just got a phone call from Tony being like, hey, would you entertain this? And at the end of the day, money talks.
It does.
Hunter mentioning he read my article. I don't think Lynch is going anywhere. She may decide to have a dream match or two in different promotions, especially now WWE's more open to other companies. TNA could be a thing. Her and Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is going to show up at NXT's Battleground this upcoming Sunday, this weekend, to challenge NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. I mean, if you're looking at dream matches in AEW, once Dr. Britt Baker returns, that could be something I'm interested in. If she's like, hey, how much would you pay me, Tony Khan, with that money? How much would you pay me for a one-off?
I don't really see that as a dream match, to be honest with you. Not saying it's a bad match. It's not a bad match. Not at all. It's not bad, but I don't really see it as like a dream bout, to be real with you. I would watch it, and I think that it would be a good match. But as far as like dream match, nah. And that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect whatsoever. It's going to be a good match, but I don't know if that's going to be on the top of Becky Lynch's bucket list. Now, it'll be on Dr. Britt Baker's bucket list now, on the other hand. I'm pretty sure that Becky Lynch would be on any female wrestler's bucket list right now. I guarantee that. Hands down.
Yeah, Elizabeth, really good thing. News of her leaving, just clickbait. She's a mom to a little one. She was supposed to have a break after WrestleMania, but once Rhea Ripley's injury happened, she like came and saved the day. And now, not being under contract, and Shan, you and I both know this with like being employees of like various different companies. Like if you're like signed, if you're an employee, like you're at the discretion of the employer, and you have to show up. Maybe this is just a way for Becky Lynch to have a break, have a chance to breathe, spend time with her daughter, recover her body. Because I hope, Shannon, that this isn't the last we've seen of Becky Lynch.
Nah, I don't see that happening. She loves the sport too daggum much. So, you know, had a great fantasy booking of Rebecca Quinn. And man, okay. I like that too, but I don't see. No, that's not the last we've seen of Becky Lynch. There ain't no daggum way. I don't see that happening at all. She's gonna be around, and I think WWE's gonna be. Elizabeth made a very good point. That was what I'm thinking is clickbait. I think it's really. I mean, it's a good story, cool story, bro. But other than that, I doubt it. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, great stuff from Elizabeth. Mouthing off with Mike, having a great fantasy booking of Rebecca Quinn. That, to our knowledge, is Becky Lynch's real name. So that would be the Rebecca Quinn is all elite meme. You see Derek asking, when do y'all expect Lynch to make her return? Shannon, I feel like SummerSlam would be too soon.
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series?
I think Survivor Series would probably be before the end of 2024 would probably be the best time, I would say. Because Survivor Series is one of the big premium live events. I think it makes sense to have Survivor Series or at the latest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know the gist of that. Like, would you want to delay that for Royal Rumble surprise? And there's a lot of premium live events going overseas. Is there one going to be in Ireland potentially that they could, just create on a whim to be like, okay, we'll bring Becky back right there. Trevor saying he's not a wrestling guy, but what's up to Trevor? Super appreciative. Trevor was on Out of Pocket last Friday. That episode's still available on Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. But as we're wrapping up and want to get you guys back to your work day at 1:00, get us back to our work day at 1:00 as well.
Right. I got time.
Hey, I could talk sports all day. I could talk wrestling all day.
You can go back to work if you want to, MD. See me afterwards, anybody. See me after.
Hey, see him afterwards. Shane can talk sports. He might drop a cat cave here pretty soon to cover the Panthers getting that stadium proposal into the city of Charlotte. But Shane, I don't really have that aged well segment for you today. But I wanted to use this last few minutes of the show to say Ospreay versus Swerve is the move at Forbidden Door. As of last Wednesday, Will Ospreay is already the AEW International Champion. I've been on record saying with you that they should have Ospreay versus Swerve at Forbidden Door, but in Wembley in August. But instead, they are having it Forbidden Door. I feel like they've missed the boat. I feel like they should have waited for this dream match to happen in August. And now they're booked in a corner. You either have Swerve lose or you have Ospreay lose or you have like an unclean finish that AEW usually doesn't do for main event world title matches. Do you think that AEW has missed the boat on this? Am I out of pocket for saying that?
This is one of the side effects of listening to fans. This is one of the side effects. You book yourself in the corner. Everybody wants to see Will Ospreay and wants to see Swerve Strickland in a ring together. But when and where is always going to be what you're going against. Yeah, it'd be great in August. I get it. But it's at a point in the wrestling season where you have to do this. You got to do this right now. Your time limit draw. I think that's what it's probably going to be. It's not going to be the best match. It's going to be a draw because both of these wrestlers can draw. Will Ospreay is one of the best. He's got to be the best wrestler in the world right now. I believe in my heart of hearts, he's the best wrestler in the world. If you've not watched the Will Ospreay match, even if you're not a wrestling fan, sit down and watch this man. He is incredible. So I think that anybody who will watch a Will Ospreay match is going to come back, happy as could be. But this is one of the tough things. Like, do you do it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if they wait till August, it might go stale. If they do it now, it might not be the best match. So it's one of those things. You flip a coin, heads or tails. Okay, it's tails. We're going to have to do it at Forbidden Door.
And to do it at Forbidden Door, you lose opportunities to have a Japan wrestler compete for the AEW World Title. Like this is the one moment in the year we're supposed to get those crossover dream matches. It's like if Survivor Series wasn't Raw versus SmackDown.
And I get it, man. I really do. But I mean, right now, once again, this might go stale. Who knows? Swerve's going to keep the title. I get it. Yes, he would be foolish to drop the title right now and ruin his reign. But Will Ospreay did get this new title, and he's putting relevance on that title. I think he's going to add relevance to that title, and they're going to give that title to another up-and-comer, which is going to be a smart move to do because you're going to push Ospreay to the point where he's going to have a big match in Wembley. You have to do that. This is probably what they're thinking. This is probably going to be the precursor. But still, with the AEW champion, I don't know, but I think that's what they're doing. That's what they're thinking right now. But they did book themselves in the corner. I do agree with that. But you got to do the match early. You have to.
Yeah, I would have preferred to wait. It would be incredible. I'll probably talk more about this on Drop the Mic tomorrow. Outta Pocket takes Wednesdays off. Perhaps we'll have a show on Thursday. Stay tuned to our social media channels for some scheduling aspects. But we are back either Thursday or Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time for your lunch break, 30 minutes. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. That's why you should subscribe to Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel for Drop the Mic tomorrow for a potential Cat Cave episode with your co-host of the Cat Cave podcast _Smitty. Shan, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you guys, all of the people in the comments pouring their love, from Trevor, Booking Like a Mark, Derek, Elizabeth, Hunter, Matt, Tony, Derek Polly. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, please forgive me. I am going to end the show right now before we get some bad news like we did yesterday. I did release an article on Fans First Sports Network, just kind of like remembering the life of Larry Allen and his impact on the Cowboys organization and the NFL. Still sending condolences to Larry Allen's family. But for myself, Michael Davis, it's been Shan Smith for Outta Pocket with Michael Davis on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. And we will see you next time right here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel.